Click Connect, special Friday night audit. Stay tuned. Craig Sullivan, you have got the most amazing shirt I've ever seen in my life. What is that all about?
Hey, that's promoting our other show, 3 Minute Thursday.
Holy shit, dude. What have we done? The mistakes that we're making right now, unbelievable.
We're going to haunt us for years. Are you kidding?
Yeah! Craig Sullivan. So good to see you, my fine friend. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, you know what? I think we got a little sunshine today. We had a little rain, but it's still a beautiful day. It's Friday. We have our show to do. We've got a special guest. It's all good.
I'm going to switch things up, Craig. You know what it tells me? It sounds like it's time for an audit. Hey everybody, welcome to the one and only Friday Night Audit, the only show in hospitality that's here to help you prove that your drinking habits are not nearly as bad as you thought. Look at ours. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's Craig Sullivan. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm great, brother. How are you? How's beautiful Nashville?
It is, well, the storm clouds are coming, so I think we're going to have some rain this evening, but that is okay because, as you know, last night I got out to my favorite barbecue joint, the Peg Leg Porker. But I'm sure there'll be some hot barbecue talk at some point during this program.
Absolutely. And we had a live 3 Minute Thursday, and you were at that fine establishment. So go check that out on Instagram after this show.
I love this. Would this be the Friday night multiverse that we're talking about here?
Could be. And once we buy Lucasfilm, we can do whatever we want. So
I don't know what the problem is. Why we can't get that deal over the deadline? I think our mistake was, you got to choose the yellow card. I mean, the white card, the blue card, the green card. Right. We should have gone. With the hospitality card or something like that and made this happen.
We should have bought all the cards. That's what we should have done. So, but hey, my stock in Disney was up as of yesterday, so that was a good thing. So.
That is awesome. That is a good thing. All right, Craig. We got a great show today. We actually got ourselves a real hotelier today or something like that.
Second generation runs one of the very finest hotel companies here in California. They've been friends for.
I'm glad you said California because for a second I thought you were talking about the Hausman Resort Pool Club and Smokehouse, and I'm like, I'm already on the show.
What about brewery and dispensary and shipyard?
Yes. Well, we don't want to break the shipyard story yet. I know we're a little landlocked, but I'm building a canal out to the Long Island Sound, so I could build ferry boats.
No. You got your waterfront home here in Newport that is under construction, so and your boat is there, so it was very generous of you to divert some money from that new construction project to buy producer David a houseboat, and it's been the hit of Newport Harbor. So
you are too much. Come on, let's do this introduction.
Hey, second generation hotelier runs one of the very finest hotel organizations in California. They own and operate boutique hotels and soft branded hotels, and they are just the best at F&B and hotel operations. Glenn and I stay at their Wayfarer Hotel, which is part of the Tapestry Collection in downtown Los Angeles for events when we're in LA, and it's always the best. So we've got
my favorite
Hotel Matt. That's it, Hotel Matt, CEO of Pacifica Hotels. Welcome.
What's up, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I love that we have an audience that no one can see. It's awesome.
That's the best way.
I have them all hiding in different parts of mostly bound and gagged in the closet because they didn't want to have to suffer through this. But yeah.
I programmed my brain to be able to have that applause anytime I do something good. So,
I have that going just constantly in my own head. So, that way it reaffirms myself. I'm like, all right, that was a really bad joke. Nobody laughed, but I'm I'm laughing in here.
I'm killing it in here. So. How are you, Matt?
Best guy I've ever met.
How you doing, Matt? Thank you for
Real
joining
good,
us.
real good. How are you all?
Just the best. It's Friday. You know, we made it through another week. We got a 3-day weekend. You know, I want to go around the room and ask, you know, what's everybody doing for this President's Day weekend? Glenn, let's start with you. What are you doing?
Well, it's going to be broken down into several components, but the first most pressing component is what's going to be happening tonight, right? I'm here. I'm in Music City. I'm in Nashville, and I don't like country music. So every time I come here, I love old school country music. Anything from like before 1990, I connect with pretty well, but I just don't connect with modern country music. So every time I'm here, I try to do that because I'd like to, because I know I'm, hippie jam band boy, and my musical tastes are very different. So I do try. I love all types of music, and I do love live music. So one of the things is I could just walk a block away, and even if I see country music that I don't love, I know I'm going to see some incredible musicians and just have a good old time. But Matt, I'm concerned because I don't got any boots. I only got my Hoka sneakers.
Hoka sneakers? That's, Hoka's on the rise. You don't want to get into the sneaker talk too early here, Glenn.
No, we don't. But there's I feel like I just did their new marketing ad. There's no better way to make them know you're an old man. Hoka.
No, there's one other brand. I would say Skechers maybe beats out Hoka, but they've got Snoop Dogg now. Snoop Dogg's their branding king. So
totally right. Well, we'll save the sneaker talk. We got to push that. off. We're talking about
what are you doing for the President's Day weekend?
President's Day weekend. I'm up here in Utah. I've got a place up here for a while. Love to ski.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You guys are killing me. What you guys should be doing is this.
That was going to be next, David, but
I saw the prompt. I was just following the host.
Wait, hold on. I remember last week's show, Matt. I'm sorry to do this live on air, but last week's show, I was getting yelled at by producer Dave for like touching buttons and doing things.
No. We are 128 shows deep. We had a flow. You hit the intro graphic. You hit the drink graphic. You hit the ending graphic. I do everything else.
I thought for a second you said you touched Dave's butt. I was concerned.
He still won't let me.
What kind of show am I on?
Listen, we've had 128 dates, and I'm still getting nowhere with this guy.
I'm a tough win.
All right, Dave. Since I'm in a hotel room, I'm gonna let you handle all of this kind of stuff.
I got it.
I've got a problem. I'm in a hotel room. I'm going to a cocktail party after this. It was too complicated for me to get a drink, so I'm drinking water. And Matt, I know you're doing a cool mocktail tonight.
Doing a mocktail. I've got a little Pacifica mocktail that my team has helped me develop. It's got a little peach. It's got a little lemon. It has let's see. Oh, I put a little grape in there too. And it's apple cider today because I'm up in Utah. I figured, why not?
Nice.
So there you go.
Very refreshing.
Very good.
I love that you're doing that, Craig. I'm sure you're drinking the beer.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah. So, Matt, what I love is, we're fresh off the dry January, but the fact is, trends are moving that in the direction that people still want to hang out and have great drinks, but not necessarily drinks with alcohol. And you guys are pioneers of the rooftop bar and are staying ahead of the trends. So how are you seeing this like whole mocktail kind of a thing happening? Usually when it comes to mocking people, it's just mocking me. So it's nice to see that cocktails are getting mocked.
It's a great question, Glenn. And actually, as I go to more and more of what I would consider the more forward-thinking restaurateurs, there is on their drink menu it's becoming, it used to be like down there with the soft drinks. Oh, we got a lemonade. And if you want to, now
it's like the Shirley Temple.
Exactly, a Shirley Temple. That was a big one in our family growing up. But now you have very complicated mocktails that are done with the same craftsmanship that we do our cocktails, and it's really high quality, and people love it. There's more and more people that are not drinking for either health reasons or whatever reasons there are. Again, we have a lot of people walking a lot of different paths these days. And I think
I'm an in-betweener. The way I'm thinking of incorporating it when I see them is I'll start off with a cocktail, But if I'm hanging out and I'm going to be here for a few hours, then maybe I'm going to have one without alcohol in it. And depending on how I feel socially, I'm either confident to just drink water, or maybe I want to have something that's a little bit more fun. Maybe I want to engage in the experience a little bit more, and then I could go and have another cocktail. Because what I see is a great mixologist can craft an amazing drink, and it doesn't have to F you up to be a successful experience.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, Matt, I've been saying this for a long time. Nobody does food and beverage better than you guys. You've got an incredible food and beverage team, and you're focused on so many things and bringing that to the experience of your hotels. What's that like? I mean, do you guys sit down once a month and go through the menus, not only for the cocktails, the mocktails, and the food, or are you constantly experimenting in your office as well and trying things out at the corporate office before you try it out at one of the hotels?
I think one of the things that we do, one, we have a lot of trust in our team. Our F&B leader, Mac, is just phenomenal. I mean, he and his team.
Doesn't he fight crime with his partner Cheese?
Yeah, mac and cheese, absolutely. But he comes from Starwood. He did a great job over there. He's done an amazing job for us. He is just really thoughtful. He goes out with some of our team. I've been trying to get an invite out to these little excursions, but he'll go out to Maker's Mark and all these great brands that we want. Everyone wants us to pour, right. And he'll go out and he'll do his own custom blend. And we'll call that the Pacifica blend. And we bring it, and you can only have that drink at one of our restaurants or bars. And so we really try and bring a unique style to it. We have infused our own alcohol at our bars. We had big infusers behind the bars, and we still do. We just do a lot of thoughtful kind of work in the craftsmanship of our cocktails. I think, it's always pushing boundaries, having, you guys, I don't know if you've had one of our smoked whiskeys where, it's just covered in a thing of smoke. It's just so cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They really doing a great job, and they have a lot of fun with it. And so, trusting our team, but also, my brothers and I, with regard to the food and beverage in general, we are at our hotels quite a bit, especially the ones that have, the bigger food and beverage operations, Wayfarer, Salt, Beachside, some of our other restaurants out in Kona. And we are always making sure that we're eating at our hotels to make sure that, the quality is what we're looking for. In today's world, it's been tough, especially in certain markets like downtown LA, where labor's tough, where restaurants have now been, everyone's open, but right. There's still a lack of kind of that downtown core business. And so, we've seen a lot. I mean, it's been in the headlines. It's been on the news about lots of restaurant closures of some really iconic restaurants in Los Angeles that have been forced to close for financial reasons. And, it's just, I think, there's a lot of trying to still have quality food, pushing the envelope for culinary and mixology and wine and those things, but also still maintaining a profit margin. It's a balancing act these days.
It really is. And, one of our downtown LA hotels, Glenn and I shared this article, the Hotel Figueroa, shut down all 5 of its food and beverage outlets, which was, Glenn and I were there for a brand party.
I think you should be a little bit clearer, Craig. They didn't shut down. There were third-party operators that shut down.
That is correct.
That is correct. Yes, thank you, David. But I was a little shocked. I mean, Glenn and I were there during the Alice conference for one of the brand parties, and it looked like everything was working on all cylinders. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, boom, gone. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in there. Now, do you guys have any plans of doing any freestanding restaurants, or is everything going to be kept within the box of your hotels?
Good question, Craig. I don't know if you got loaded with that one or not from an inside source.
I guess that answers a yes.
Breaking
news on the audit, baby.
No, there's nothing pending, but we did actually look at a standalone restaurant in the marina, since we had so much operations out there and with food and beverage. We did look at one that was coming for sale and then was a short term on the lease, and looked at that as an opportunity and did an underwriting and checked it out. Decided not to do it. Probably was good considering what happened. This was pre-pandemic. And then, And then we've looked at opportunities down in South Orange County, for some food and beverage opportunities. But right now we have a lot on our hands with our hotel investments and our family office that we haven't been able to carve out the time to explore some of those. But
Marina Del Rey makes a lot of sense because you are you dominate that market. Okay. And that's always nice. It was like Tarsadia back in the day dominated Mission Valley down in San Diego. That's a great thing. And that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. Orange County's tough. We've got so many great restaurants, but we've got so many that don't make it because of the competition. And, you do something, I don't know if you've got a larger lot with your hotel standing on it, you can do a tilt up building out in the front, maybe that makes more sense. But I encourage everybody to stop by a Pacifica hotel, not only to stay there, but try the food and beverage. It is just outstanding. It is the best. You guys are the industry leaders.
I'm encouraging Craig to make Pacifica Hotel food and beverage offerings the official sponsors of Click and give us all the good free food possible.
Well, we can work that out once they've got a place that's got enough ballroom space for the conference.
There we go.
I would be more than happy to do that. So
we'd love to. We'd love to.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Here's a better question, Matt.
Yeah.
Are your burgers better than In-N-Out burgers?
Ooh, man, In-N-Out makes a good burger. And it's funny, I'm not like an In-N-Out disciple like other people I know in my family and friends. No, but we do have some spectacular burgers, and sometimes they're not on the menu, but all of our outlets do make a phenomenal burger. So sometimes you just have to ask for the secret burger. So
that's awesome.
I think my food and beverage team may be, dying right now, but me saying that.
Well, they can always come in the remarks where they're watching it. So.
Yes, exactly.
It always comes back to the burger because that's the staple. That's the backbone. Right. That is the thing that if you can't do it well, then how are you supposed to do anything else well?
That's right.
I had a really interesting negative but positive burger experience. I was in Toledo a few weeks ago, and I went to a neighborhood bar, and I got a burger for lunch. And the fries were awesome. The bun was awesome. The lettuce and tomato were fresh. And the burger was a frozen patty that was overcooked and tasted like something you got in the bowling alley back when you were a kid, right? It just ruined the whole thing. It's just like they put so much effort into all those other elements, and then they fell short on the burger, and then that just ruined it. And then I went somewhere else for another meal, and that place was really good.
Well, think about our DC trip, Glenn. What is, it was a great trip we had, but what is, at least for me, the most memorable part of that trip? It was the freaking burger at Xena when Anthony had to go run into the kitchen. And so a little bit backstory. We went to a DC trip years ago as part of No Vacancy Live. The wonderful people at Hotel Xena, great hotel, go check it out. The executive chef there put together, I don't know, like a 5, 6, 7 course sampler platter of all their different things for us three. And it was all great, but something about this burger, we all bit into it and we just kind of stopped. But of course, Anthony being Anthony stops and then drops his burger, gets up and leaves the table. And we're like, what the hell is going on?
It's very dramatic.
He walked into the kitchen to find the chef because he was like, this is the best burger I've ever had. And that burger is the highlight, to me at least, of that trip, which was a great, 3-day trip, 3-hotel trip that we did.
Yeah, it was like 3.5 years ago, and you're still talking about that freaking burger.
I think what makes a good burger is the quality of the meat, and for me personally, a fair amount of seasoning, and it can be however you like the season. It could be garlic seasoning, it could be Lowry salt, it could be Cajun salt. I like all three of those. Maybe a little bit of steak salt on there, and then I like my burger a little more on the closer to like medium well done. I like a good solid well done burger. I don't like to see the pink in a burger. I like pink.
I agree.
Most every other meats, but not on a burger.
Burger, I want it well done.
I don't like it. I don't like it when the buns get all juiced out and they're all soggy. I like a nice.
Anybody had bison before?
Yes,
and
I have.
Bison is
Montana or Montana Ted's or whatever that place is. Pretty good too.
Someone in the comments said bison's the best, and they are absolutely right. And up here at Stein Eriksen Lodge, they have a crazy good bison burger.
Huh.
Nice.
I never had a
Nice.
bison burger, but I didn't know you could eat bison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes like buffalo.
Yeah, they've done. Ted Turner did such a good job saving the bison.
No, we're right over
That was
Dave's
good.
head.
That was good. That was good. Yeah.
What happened? I must have missed it. What happened?
I said bison tastes just like buffalo.
He still doesn't get it. Oh, there it is.
He's Googling really quick. He's Googling.
The hands are up. The hands are up. The hands are up. Oh, Googling. I am quick on the Google, I will say, but my hands are up right now out under the table.
Oh my God.
All right, so we need to take a trip to Montana. You know, I still want to take a trip, and I've told Andy this. I want to be a tourist in one of those small towns you see on movies that have like 500 people and like one stoplight in the middle of town, and just see what that actually like. The one random saloon where I walk in, and everyone looks at me really angrily, and then they hear
Are you
me.
talking about the movie Atomic City?
Never heard of that. But
Dave, you just described where I am right now. I'm in Midway, Utah, and we've got one stoplight in town, and most of the time I'm going to I think it's a 7-Eleven to grab my groceries or snacks.
Nice.
So,
that's when I was in Salt Lake City for the first time earlier this year. I was like, wow, this is a real sleepy, quiet town. I called Craig. I was like, Craig, this place sucks.
yeah, it's a little more quiet and reserved in Utah, Salt Lake compared to other towns. You guys.
Well, the problem that Dave is having is the same problem that I had. We grew up in the New York City area, and we didn't understand that there are other places that are different. So when you start to go out to other places and you draw that comparison, everything just feels small by comparison. And I remember flying into Dallas when I was much younger for the first time and going, oh, they have 8 buildings downtown. How cute, you know? And so it's just such a weird perspective. It's kind of like the opposite of like that cliche about when the country boy comes to the city and is overwhelmed. We have the same thing the other direction, you know?
I started my career in New York, and I always tell people when they ask, I teach at a few different universities in California, and I'll get, well, where should I go for work? And I go, if you can get a job in New York, even if you can just survive there 2 or 3 years, everything else in life will be easy. And it's the same thing, like you were saying, with food and beverage, culinary, culture, performance art, other than maybe London or some of these other major, epicenters of culture, you're really at the apex. I mean, you're just at the very top of the mountain there in New York of getting the best of everything.
Every so often, I'll be walking across town to either go to work or go back to the bus to come home. And just randomly, there's no rhyme or reason why, I'll just happen to be looking around. Usually I'm either facing my phone, I'm on a phone call or something crazy, but every so often I'll just kind of be like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool that I'm in Manhattan. This is something I take for granted, and we've never, Glenn, ever really had to be able to have that experience of seeing New York for the first time. And it'd be like a lifelong trip, And I realize there's a lot of people that this is their lifelong trip, that when they come off the plane and they see the city flying in, then they land, and there's like that excitement to get into Manhattan. And then you finally come through one of the bridges or tunnels, and it must be unbelievably. I'm trying to think where I would probably have that experience. I don't even know where it would be.
I did have that experience, actually.
Where
Shanghai.
was it?
That's the only place in the world that I ever went to that I'm like, whoa, in this particular city sense.
It's such a new city. Everything's new.
Yeah. And when I was there in 2014, it's just like there were miles of buildings under construction, and then this insanely massive downtown, all with buildings taller than the average building in New York. It was phenomenal.
I was thinking similar in Asia. I just don't know where it would be, but I'm sure there is one. Maybe Tokyo. I could see Tokyo possibly doing that. You wouldn't know though, Glenn, because you can't get there.
Yeah, he can't get there. Don't bring that up.
Although one of my sons is thinking of doing a semester abroad there next spring, so maybe that'll force the issue.
Nice.
Matt, in the summer of 2020, my family was planning a trip to Japan, and that did not work out. And the universe has not conspired to help us get there since. So
I'm still trying to get to Australia. Same issue.
Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there one day, but that's on the after retirement plan, I think, for me.
So then, Matt, where should I go to tour my sleepy, small, little, tiny town?
Shoot. Utah's got plenty of them. Like you, Dave, I have this thought that maybe when I'm a little slowed down, I don't know if you ever retire from this kind of business, but when I'm not managing stuff day to day. I picked up motorcycle as soon as my kids were grown. I kind of, said, hey, okay, I've kind of done my part now. I can do some things for me. And so I got a motorcycle for the first time in my life. And I ride a Triumph, and I have always dreamed of going through the South, the kind of the deep South, and go through those little tiny Southern towns where they have the one, cafe that everyone eats at, and spend a night there. Like even just like travel with just like one change of clothes, just be the hobo guy, just wandering around, do a little podcast.
If it was the 70s, you'd be a rambling man.
There you go.
It sounds great. I'm sure after 4 days, I'd be like catching a flight home or something, and paying a friend to ride my motorcycle back. But
yeah, I'm shipping the bike back. So, what kind of bike is it? Is it a 650 Bonneville?
No, I've actually got some really cool. I've got 2 bikes. I got one in California, one here in Utah. The one in Utah was my first one. It's the Triumph XE1200 Scrambler, but it's the Steve McQueen edition. So it's a special edition bike. They're only like 650 made. And then my one out in California, which I'm really debating on right now, they just stopped production of them. It's the Triumph. I'm losing the name right now. Okay, I lost it. But it's basically the old Cafe Racer. Thruxton. And I have the Thruxton TFC, which is from TFC stands for Triumph Factory Custom. Right. So it's another 650 numbered bike, and it's just and now they're not making that line anymore, so it's even more collectible. So
yeah, you might have to hang on to that.
Yeah, there it is. There's the Thruxton right there. Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah. And they're a lot of fun. The problem is, you notice that bike, it has those kind of a little more aggressive stance. And as I'm getting older now, the more upright stance of the Scrambler is much easier to ride, and you're higher up, and you can see. You don't feel like you're going to get maybe killed as easily.
The lower back's not
probably same solution if you get hit by a car.
Yeah. So I think it was my second or third bike was a 650 Bonneville.
Oh, very cool.
Love that bike.
Great bikes. They'll go forever too.
Yeah. I'd want like an old school bike with a sidecar so I could wear those goggles. Yeah.
I think Dave has to be sending an email to Triumph right now saying, hey, we need a little sponsorship for this, this episode.
There we go.
They're going to send Glenn and Craig bikes, not me. So screw that.
I've never ridden a motorcycle. My mom would never let me. And
that's my mom. My mom was the same way. Just always said,
so now no bike. That's past me. It's probably a good idea because I'm not like good with things like that.
Well, it's funny, Matt. Before my son was born, he's now 42. Okay. I had a Harley, and my dad made me promise that I would not ride motorcycles till my son was 18. So I did, sold the bike, and on my son's 18th birthday, I'm getting a bunch of calls from a bunch of friends. What, you going to go get another bike? You going to go get another bike? I said, no, I'm too old now. I don't bounce. I break. It's like, no.
It's true. Yeah, I don't ride a ton, but I did learn how to ride when I was a kid off road, and so I do have pretty good riding skills. But I enjoy it. I enjoy going out. I try and keep to the roads that don't have a lot of traffic on it.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
Small town, and I can find all kinds of deep roads that I don't see anyone for miles, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, you really want to test your skills. You really want to be dangerous. Don't be a chump like that. One car per road.
I call the rides up here
on the BQE. Come on the turnpike. Test what you really got, man. Okay.
I had to ride my Thruxton back from about 40 miles, and most of it was freeway miles in rush hour in Orange County.
Yeah, I was about to say
that was the scariest thing I've ever done, and it was like 95 degrees too. I was all in leathers. It was just sweaty.
You basically walking the car.
It was brutal.
Yeah. So, well, it's funny. You go over to my son's house, and he's got all these motorcycles, and he's got, I can't remember the manufacturer, but it's a bike that's good for both roads and off road. Is him and a bunch of his buddies were going to go into Mexico and take some of the old trails all the way up to Canada. So he's got all these motorcycles. My grandson's 7, and he's got a little electric motorcycle. It's got a governor on it, so my son can set the speed.
That's smart for the little guys. Yeah.
Glenn, we need to learn how to ride a motorcycle, because otherwise we can't afford to drive into the city anymore. So
That's
Absolutely.
that's not a good situation with this congestion pricing in the city.
By the way, that was some of my arguments, was that in the case of an emergency, a motorcycle, and it was true, when we had the big fires in Santa Barbara, people that had these motorcycles that Craig is talking about, a lot of them are KTMs or these, what's called an enduro that goes off and on road. They could get by the police stops to get up to their houses to try and save their houses when the fire came. Now, I'm not saying I'm advocating that that's a dangerous thing to do, but I do know of people that did save their homes that way.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
So let's talk about congestion pricing for a second, because it's coming in New York soon, whether people like it or not. I sent you guys the article that showed that someone in Boston is trying to get it to happen. It's obviously years and years and years away from that actually taking place. But do you guys feel that New York congestion pricing is going to expand? And what's the next few cities? I mean, Craig, it's obviously you guys over in LA would be a great, an obvious candidate for that to happen. But what are you guys seeing? What are you expecting to see with this congestion pricing along the country?
My comment on this is, you guys start all this shit in New York, and that's why we've got $20 movie theaters, tickets now. It all starts in Manhattan. I'm tired of this shit.
Rightfully so, bro. Rightfully so. As a New Yorker, I really can't stand it. I don't like. First of all, I'm very against these regressive taxes that hit poorer people more. That's extremely unfair, particularly if they're trying to come in and work for a living in the city.
Right.
Worse yet, to try to come in and spend money in your city and help generate tax dollars and all of that kind of stuff. A city shouldn't do that if they haven't made it easy for people to get around in other ways. And we still have significant transportation problems coming from all the places outside of the New York City subway system. So you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, but the problem is the reason this is even happening is because they can't get people to pay to ride the subway. They can't figure out how to get people to actually pay to be on the subway or to be on the buses. That's why they need money, and that's why they're charging people from Jersey and New York or Westchester and the Island and Connecticut, because they don't want to have the problem of their constituents being pissed off they have to start paying for now.
Funny. It sounds just like a hotel occupancy tax. Let's just keep raising it on the suckers coming in to spend money in our town.
Capitalism at work.
Let's kill the goose that laid the golden egg. Well, Matt can attest to this as well as I can. We've had a problem in Orange County because of housing where day labor, your maids, your engineers, your groundskeepers, your gardeners, everybody else, even teachers and nurses can't afford to live in Orange County or LA. So they've either gone down to North County, San Diego, which is an unbearable drive up to, say, Santa Ana, or they're out the west end of San Bernardino, the Upland, Ontario area, Rancho Cucamonga, and try driving into LA or into Orange County, and that's miserable as well. And our transit system, lack of a better word, sucks, but they are working on it. And, I don't know if Matt remembers this, but way back when we had the red car that came across LA into Orange County, into what was Pacific City then, and then turned into Huntington Beach, because the Huntington family owned the red car, and they brought it all the way down to the Newport Peninsula.
I saw that documentary. What was it? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? About what happened?
That was it. Yes, yeah. Oh, and you know what? You were told not to talk about that because once we acquire Lucasfilm, we're doing Roger too. So be quiet.
I can see Greg trying to get the persona of George Lucas already. If I squint my eyes, I can almost see George. But you talk about this mass transportation issue. We have, I think it was just announced a little while ago that they're still moving on that speed train to Vegas. That would be
actually
huge.
In construction in Vegas right now. Yeah.
If we could drive, what is it? I don't know where the station's going to be. It's just like over in kind of Inland Empire a little bit.
Yeah, I think Ontario.
So you drive out from Orange County, maybe 30, 40 minutes, depending on traffic, maybe an hour, and you catch a train. I think the train is only like 2 hours to Vegas or something like that, or 2.5. I mean, you're cutting down time, and you don't have to deal with your car in Vegas and all that stuff. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Especially considering all the hotels are charging for parking now in Vegas, and I look at driving in Vegas on the weekend like driving in San Francisco on the weekend. No, thank you. And I love both cities, but I don't want to drive. It's just like
I go up to LA so much, and if they had a kind of a easy way for me to go somewhere in South Orange County to catch a train that doesn't take 2 hours to get to LA, and I could get there, take an Uber where I'm going. When I'm in LA, I don't mess around with parking. It's more expensive to use parking structures than to go in Uber.
That's why Frank took an Uber from his house to your hotel during
past 2 years for Alice. I've Ubered up to your hotel. It's cheaper.
Absolutely.
And I've still got my sanity, or what's left of it, by the time I get there. So
I did my first Uber to LA from Orange County just out of necessity. I was meeting someone, we didn't want to have 2 cars up there. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I was like, man, if I could rationalize this somehow, I would do this more where I didn't have to do that drive. It's just such a pain. I can get more done on my, my devices in the car, all that kind of stuff. It just is less wasted time.
Tim Edgar over at Hotel Investors. He's a Centurion, graduated from SC, the whole 9 yards. He does not miss an SC football game at home. And he's been Ubering up and home to those games for the past 3 years now. He goes, Craig, it's the best thing in the world. It says, I don't have to deal with anything. I can preset it. I know exactly where I want them to pick me up, where it's not too bad on them getting to me. And
that's awesome.
He goes,
I'm up in LA at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week. And if there was an easy way to get back and forth, I would go back and forth. But for the most part, I'll stay a night or 2 in LA. It's just easier.
Yeah,
it is, because you can schedule those meetings over 2 days instead of trying to jam everything into one. And I do the same thing. It's either I'm up there for 2 days or a day and a half minimum. And before I come back. So
all right, so guys, every once in a while, I get stuck on a particular issue in hospitality. Certain things really nudge me. Yeah. So I decided I want to see some more innovation around do not disturb signs now. Right. I think we gotta focus on this issue.
We were completely left. Okay, let's do it.
All right. Seriously, because this is the 3rd hotel in a row it's happened to me, and God bless the hotel owners. Every time you try and close the freaking door, the do not disturb thing goes flying. Right.
Same thing. I have the same issue, Glenn.
All the time.
I got a big beef with that.
Right. Can't we figure out something there to make it work? Because
they have the lights. I like the lights. I've seen those where
most green and red light. Have the little light thing.
It just isn't aesthetic. It looks too,
And a lot of people don't even notice it if they're staying in the room, I would guess. But
there's a very simple solution, right? You add some kind of little hook, a little tab, a little thing, maybe on the back of the door, but up by the peephole to the left of the door frame, so that it's not on the door frame side. Put it on the wall to the side.
It needs more weight. That's all.
I've got the solution, guys. This is what I do.
All right.
So, lock makers out there, put a little red and green light on the locks. You already have all the system stuff. You have a little do not disturb thing on the back of on the guest side of the locking mechanism, and there's your do not disturb. And they can charge an extra $50 a lock, and we don't have to deal with all that other stuff.
I was just gonna say, put an LED in the handle. Green to come on in and clean the room, red to stay the hell out. So
there you go.
Yeah.
How am I going to slow that down?
Because it's in the lock. Then it's connected to the property management system, and you can use intelligence to know which rooms you don't even have to go to.
There you go. Oh, crowd went wild for that.
I did.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Now that we've innovated there, all right. Let's get back to that hot sneaker talk that we were talking about before.
So, last year, my mom's husband, not my dad, passed away, and I was up here in Utah where they live with my mom for almost 3.5 weeks. And during that time, I had a lot of time. I was working remote, so never as efficient as when you're able to do your thing. So I had some extra time, so I was looking for things to do. I've always loved. I played basketball since I was 5 years old. Our family and company was the original franchisee of the New Orleans Jazz, moved them to Utah. We have all this great basketball history. Grew up a basketball fan, grew up getting to meet players when I was a kid. Definitely a silver spoon kind of a situation there. But was always
highly underrated sitcom from
especially.
1982.
What was that? What was that, Glenn?
I said a highly underrated sitcom from 1982. We're digging deep into the Jason Bateman catalog.
Yeah, well, Jason Bateman is one of my favorite actors. He's a great guy. Brother-in-law was my baker for a while, but we all know who that is. So I feel like I felt like I needed to find something constructive to do. The other thing is just with some of my estate planning, I've got kind of a trust that I'm never going to touch that goes to,
Did you start estate planning around the time you bought the motorcycle?
No, the motorcycle's not in the trust. But I said, having a lot of good experience in finance and Wall Street and those kind of things. And I listened to a lot of podcasts like Acquired and Founders and those kind of things that teach you a lot about business and investing. And so I do fairly well in investing. So, I like hotel business, but you gotta spread it around. You gotta diversify. So I wanted to challenge myself. So I said, I want to do some collectibles. So I take a little bit of a small percentage of my income, like 5-10% out of this one entity that I have. And I invested in collectibles like sports memorabilia,
awesome.
Watches, potentially cars down the road, but sneakers became one of those allocations. And I
put all my kids' college money into Beanie Babies.
Yes. Well, had you done it early on, you would have done better than the S&P probably.
But I was not that smart back then.
Yeah. But so it's fun. It gives me a fun hobby. It's constructive.
Right.
I really get into it. I've really I drive my brothers crazy at work. My office now looks like a Foot Locker. It's just ridiculous. So. And my office here at up in Utah there's sneakers everywhere in my life, so it's kind of ridiculous.
Is there a particular brand that you collect more than any others? And
okay, here we go. Yeah.
Beanie Baby price bust. 1988, $1,300. 2018, $3.
Like any investment vehicle, timing is everything.
Everything.
And actually, right now it's a good time to collect sneakers because sneaker prices are actually historically low. And there's an app. It's actually run by an acquaintance of mine, Scott Cutler, who is CEO of StockX. Mm-hmm. I actually met him for the first time out in New York when he was working for the New York Stock Exchange. So he's modeled this whole platform that he has after the stock market with bids and asks. So it's interesting to follow trends just like any other investment. So there's that aspect that entices me. I love sneakers. I've always collected, one-offs. Like I buy two, like any person that grew up playing sports or something, you love sneakers. You buy 2 or 3 a year. I think last year, I better be careful about who hears this, but I think I bought, let's just say over 100 sneakers last year.
Wow.
And my collection is probably 200 to 250 now.
Now, are they mainly in your office, or do you have them at your residence and your office?
I have them all over. Yeah. Okay. And I have an intense security system now in my office to take care of the security of my sneakers. So
I love that idea because then nobody knows how many you truly have, and you can rotate them around,
including myself.
Yeah. Well, I bet you got that all down on a spreadsheet in your.
I've decided I'm going to have to hire an intern at some point just to do like manage my sneakers and get it organized one summer.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to get
plenty of young people asking if I have internships. In fact, I got a breakfast tomorrow morning. I might say, hey, I might have something for you this summer.
I've got a question. Are your sneakers all different brands?
Yeah, I started with Jordans and Nikes, and now I'm very agnostic. I kind of go where the heat is. I go. One of the things I really love right now, and it's very current. He's one of the great young players in the NBA, Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He is a phenomenal Jordan-esque type of player. He just came out with a new sneaker. It is probably hands down one of the better playing basketball sneakers. And because it's so hot as a player shoe and it's got good designs and interesting colorways, that it is now becoming a casual fit sneaker. And people are wearing these high performance basketball shoes out to clubs, and he's coming out with different colorways. He just came out with an all-star game colorway, which is something that most of the shoe lines do. And it's this eggplant kind of purple that it's kind of iridescent. So if you look at it a different way, it goes dark green, and it's got a sock liner. It's got the Yeezy Boost in it or something like that. So it's phenomenal. Yeah. Great sneaker.
I don't know if this still holds true, but it used to be that Puma did like no advertising. They only did print ads, game day. You know, when Marcus Allen was like their biggest star, it was in the NFL magazine at the show. It was in the LA Times in the sports section, things like that. Are they still like not doing any advertising, or are they signing athletes anymore? What's going on?
They're interesting. Puma, they're one of the brands that I think is one of the big sleeper brands and one that could really break out. You know, they're big name in basketball, and basketball kind of drives the sneaker world unless you're getting maybe a celebrity or something. But I wear sneakers every day. I wear sneakers. I wear sneakers now formally. I have a formal set of sneakers.
Glenn and I do as well.
Yeah. But Puma actually has LaMelo Ball, who's one of the great young, exciting players in the NBA, and he actually has a phenomenal shoe. I have a couple of his shoes. One that I just ordered today that dropped last night in the middle of the night. And that's what's crazy is you have to set your alarm to get some of these shoes. He dropped his All-Star game shoe, I believe, and it's Cheetos. He has a Cheetos shoe. So it's and I like the goofier, weirder the shoe, the better. I have these things called the Flea 2s that literally are like huge. I have ones called Super Babies that look like baby shoes, like baby sneakers, and they're like twice as wide, and you look like a big baby when you wear them, which my brothers think is very funny. So you know, I like the weirder the better.
Those on stage.
Yeah,
I got one pair.
Puma Guide are some of the classics, you know.
Yeah,
Lord Daniel's got a trivia question.
Yeah.
What shoe size does Shaq wear?
Ooh, I've heard this before. I want to say it's like a 24 or something.
That's
what I was thinking. 24, 25, E or something.
You're all wrong. If you were on The Price is Right, you would have all buzzered out size is 22.
22, okay. I have one of Colin Pound's game worn shoes, and it is a size 22. So, you know, and I have another one that's one of Paul George's Hot Wheel shoes. It's not his personal shoe, but the other ones are Carl's, and it's size 18 that I picked up at retail. And I figured one of these days, one of my NBA friends is going to want a Hot Wheels Paul George shoe. So I'm waiting to see who's going to pay the most for that one. So
I just bought a Fox Lightning McQueen Crocs, which he's been very excited about. When Craig, by the way, the 1 year anniversary of our trip to California just passed, me and Fox's, believe it or not.
Wow.
And he would have been perfect to have his McQueen Crocs when we were stomping around Disneyland at Cars Land the entire day for 14 hours that day, whatever it was.
Bring up Glenn's Crocs, and then we can show them what happened.
Glenn, you got Crocs on?
That.
Not currently, although I do have my fish Crocs around here somewhere in this hotel.
I have a friend that only wears Crocs everywhere.
Oh, yeah?
I think he has like 300 pairs of Crocs. It's ridiculous.
That's hysterical. I got this cool pair of they're called Nike SB Dunk Low Grateful Dead ones, and they've got like green fur on them and the Dead logo. Yeah,
I've been trying to buy a pair of those. I thought I had one, and then the seller canceled on me. But you do know those are really valuable, right?
Yeah, somebody sent it to me as a gift.
Okay.
I appreciate it very much. And
have you worn them?
What's that?
Have you worn them?
No.
So if you wear them, you lose 30 to 40% of the value.
No. Those are not sneakers to wear.
I believe, are they the yellow ones? There's a couple.
And I got the green ones.
Okay, the green ones. That's a nice pair. I think those are around maybe like $1,000.
Yeah, it's awesome. I my hobby is selling off my comic book.
There they are.
Collection. Yeah.
Nice.
That's not right.
So, I know all about keeping things in mint condition.
Yeah. That one doesn't look right.
Not according to your wife. She says you're nowhere near mint condition.
It's I keep myself in mint condition.
That's true.
In mint condition. I'm the exception.
I had a buddy growing up that we had all this Star Trek and Planet of the Apes and Star Wars stuff. He was the kid that he'd unbox them, we'd play with them, he'd rebox them after we played with them, and then I called him one day and I go, "Hey, do you still have all your old toys? Because those things have got to be, you probably buy a house with that stuff." And he goes, "They burned in a fire."
Oh,
for him. After he'd taken so much good care of them. My
original collection of Star Wars figures, because I was 7 when that movie came out. So my original collection, I had them all. I loved them so much, and they were in my parents' car that got stolen.
Ooh.
Oh,
I know.
So
They're
one of my
probably-
favorite parts of my collection is a Star Wars themed shoe collection that I've started, and I have like C-3PO. The best ones, I should have brought them down. I have the C-3PO ones here, but there's Chewbacca shoes, and it looks like Chewbacca. It's got the bandolier, it's got a Millennium Falcon hanging off.
Love it.
They're phenomenal. They're hairy. They
Yeah, I
hair,
was gonna
they're
say you
furry.
got to have fur on them, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. The sneaker companies are really creative.
Yeah.
It's really cool that it's really become an artistic medium that's grown out of like a need, and it can serve both purposes or just go extremely in the artistry side. It's really awesome.
And I'm looking, again, with all my passions, I look to integrate them. That's the cool thing about hospitality is you can almost take any kind of passion and figure out a way to weave it into a property or something you're doing at a property. I was telling you guys as we were getting ready for this that, we own the Vintage up in Portland, the Vintage Kimpton and Kimpton Vintage. And it's the hotel that Michael Jordan used to stay in at times when he'd come up to Portland. And there was a Michael Jordan suite that has oversized furniture for his comfort, and it's still there. And I've thought that when we get ready to redo those rooms, that we need to do something Jordan in that room. I would love to do a collab with Jordan Brand. So if you're listening to Friday Night Audit right now, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll be reaching out to you, see if we can get something done. But I think it would be a phenomenal hotel experience for someone who is a big, and again, Beaverton and Portland are it's sneaker city. And so being able to have that kind of experience, that there will be people that will be seeking out that kind of opportunity.
It sounds all great, but as long as you have something taken care of with that do not disturb sign.
Yeah. Light figured out.
You guys have expressed your very in-depth knowledge of sneakers and valuations and whatnot. But now, before the show wraps up, let's turn to the more important one, and let's see how you guys do with handbags. Tell us about your knowledge of the
handbag. Well, you know what? I'm not horrible at that, since I literally just finished watching Acquired's podcast of Louis Vuitton. And I'll tell you, if anyone ever wants to be entertained for 4 hours, that podcast is riveting on how Arnault has collected this luxury brand, and it was based on Louis Vuitton. He didn't create any of those brands, but he has assembled the greatest collection of luxury brands in the world. And for doing that, he's the richest man in the world right now.
Wow.
Glenn will be watching that listening to that tonight.
Forget how much money he has. I feel like I'm the richest man in the world because I get to do this show with you dumb fuckers every single week. So,
that does make you very rich, Glenn. And all the knowledge that we are imparting on you and the viewers, it's just, it's invaluable to the education of the world.
Oh, the rainstorm's starting inside. Look how dark and depressing it's getting in this house.
Very dark.
I can hear the thunder going. Oh man, I'm gonna have a damn country night. Yeah.
Well, that's a great time then to bring up this. As you guys can hear, Fox's switch got a lot louder because he's being very difficult right now, not doing anything, listening. But he is giving me a reason to stall so I can find this. No, not that one.
Hey, thanks so much for watching the best part of the show. Of course, it's time for the plug of Palooza. The moment you all tune in where we shamelessly plug, I'd like to start off by asking for an umbrella because I'm going to probably have to go out over there, which is not going to be delightful at all. But Matt, you're our guest. Tell us a little bit about Pacifica, why people would want to stay there, and plug the hell out of it, buddy.
I'll tell you, Pacifica Hotels has been such a great experience for me of the last, I think, 27 years, now 26 years. It was just an infant when I joined. My dad and I had partners. We're now completely family owned. It's actually now in the sibling generation only. And we are super excited as a family to continue this tradition of offering what we think is some of the best hotel experiences. We do, like what I was saying earlier, we're really kind of a magnet for a lot of industries, hotels. And I gave a TED talk once about how hotels are actually the backdrops for so many people's important experiences in life, whether it's anniversaries, birthdays, getaways, trying to repair relationships, trying to meet people for the first time. Maybe you're going away for the first time with someone. And then even like, I've had experiences where people, were losing someone. It was the last time they were going to be with grandma or grandpa or great grandma or grandpa.
Right.
So we really want to just provide the best backdrop and the best service experience that people can have during these important times. And I think our team, we invest a lot in our training department and in our culture at our properties to really, really push to have our employees. And I get feedback all the time from people like you guys that stay at our hotels, and they say your staff is wonderful.
Matt, your staff is wonderful at the Wayfarer. Every interaction we had was phenomenal.
Thank you. And it really is, hospitality, design, food and beverage, our comfort of our beds, all those things. We look at every aspect of that, but it really comes down to the people and the interactions. And we really have striven to do that. Real quick story, during the mudslides, the tragic mudslides in Montecito and Santa Barbara, we had a lot of people come to the Wayfarer at the time and stay long term because they were displaced out of their houses. We had a person visiting from back east, and that lady was so touched by people coming together as kind of a community. She extended for 3 to 4 weeks and cooked people in our communal kitchen breakfast and lunch and dinner on her own dime, and cared with these families and mourned with them. Some of them had lost pets and even family members and houses. And that's, to me, the ultimate experience of hospitality, is really trying to make it as family and home as possible while still giving it that edge of, we all like to go to a hotel because it's just a little edgy. It's a little more fun. It's like, we can kind of let ourselves let loose a little bit. And I think there's a fine balance between all those things, and getting that chemistry right is super important. And we really try and do that at Pacifica. We take a great attention. My brother Adam is phenomenal at the attention to detail in the design and how we maintain our properties. Our ops team, led by John Pedlow, is just, they always are trying to figure out how can we make it a better experience for our guests.
Awesome. Yep. Check them out, pacificahotels.com, pacificahotels.com. Dave's got nothing to promote, So, Craig, I'm excited. We're getting close now. It's feeling real.
We're getting really close. 7th annual California Lodging Investment Conference, March 6th and 7th at the West and South Coast Plaza Hotel. And John Pedlow from Pacifica Hotels is on a panel. So,
he is. He's really excited about it too.
Can't wait to have him there. I want to thank Matt and the entire team at Pacifica for being a sponsor this year. We've got 3 great panels. We've got 2 keynotes. It's owners, it's management companies, brands, lenders still making loans on hotels, including construction.
What?
Insurance carriers, our trade associations. Jason Reederer from AHLA will be bringing us up to date on legislative matters in California. If you're in the California hotel market or want to be, this is the event you should attend, and you can register at cliconference.com. We've got some new Click Connect episodes coming out. We've got Chris Green. We've got a few other people, some big names coming. We're going to get Matt on the show as well, and join us. So thank you all. Matt, thank you for being here today.
Hey, it's great hanging out with you guys this Friday night. Real fun.
Yeah. Sure. So since you mentioned Chris Green, I was just stretching over there to go get his book, River Guide to Leadership. And this is No Vacancy Approved. I'm on the back cover over there saying nice things about him because he deserves it. He's an awesome guy. River Guide to Leadership. Yep. Green. Get it at Amazon right now. It was the #1 book in leadership last I saw. Also, thanks to the good people at Remington Hospitality. I'll be hosting their event the last week of February in Fort Worth. So if you're part of the Remington family, see you there. Then it's on to the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference, where I'll be doing a panel with some of the top development folks out there. We already talked about Craig's conference. After that, I'll be at AHOA, the official No Vacancies, the official podcast of the the Asian American Hotel Owners Association Conference down in Orlando. I also want to thank the folks at PM Hospitality for booking me for a keynote speech on April 29th at their leadership forum. And you'll see me in a city near you. assuming I survive this rainstorm here in Nashville. Thanks, everybody. Really
I'll also be speaking at Hunter, and just a little last plug.
Yeah.
Is that maybe next time you guys come on, we can talk about the Broadway show that I'm co-producing.
No way.
Yes.
Just a little
Absolutely.
teaser for next time, guys.
You buried the lead on that one, man.
There we
Right?
go. Yeah.
I want to come hang out with you guys again. This was real fun.
This is great.
Please.
And Matt, stick around after we go off air. Let's do a video together if you're at the Hunter conference. All right, Dave, you want to take us out? And then
I got you. All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. Glenn, don't float away. We
Bye,
will
everybody.
see you next week.
I'm not touching anything.
Don't